let's get started. So we're going to talk about dropship customer orders today. If you have any questions during the presentation, just enter your questions in the chat box on the Ring Central toolbar. We will have a Q&A at the end. I'll answer any questions you have. My name is Gina Thomas. I'm the training manager here at C&K Systems and your hostess for Training Bites, a digestible approach to Counterpoint training. So a customer comes into your store and they want an item that's out of stock. Now the vendor does have the item in stock, but it may take weeks to receive the item in the store. Meanwhile, if the customer doesn't want to return to the store to pick up the merchandise, you're going to need to ship the item to the customer once you receive the product. So in olden days Counterpoint in this scenario, it would require a bit of time and effort on your part to satisfy this customer request. Typically, you would build a back order at point of sale, and then somebody would build a purchasing document, and then at some point in time, someone would physically receive in the merchandise, open the box, inspect the merchandise, call the customer, and release the order. Or if the customer wants it shipped, now that person needs to repackage the item and ship it. So a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of steps. And that's why we're going to talk about dropship customer orders today. This is a feature that was introduced to Counterpoint a couple of years ago. It's a great feature. It's going to save you time, it's going to save you labor, and ultimately save you money. So today I'm going to show you how to enable the dropship settings. I'm going to show you how to actually create a dropship customer order and the processes involved with dropship customer orders. And frankly, it's fairly minimal. So just some dropship basics. Dropship orders ship directly from the vendor to the customer. This is the biggest chunk of time savings for you because no one is physically receiving in the merchandise or inspecting the merchandise or having to repackage the merchandise for more shipping. Dropship customer orders must be paid in full. And as soon as you are done creating the dropship customer order, a purchase request is auto-generated, and it does need to be posted. Now, a purchase request is generated for audit trail purposes, of course, and the labor involved here is minimal. Somebody created the customer dropship at point of sale. Counterpoint created the purchase request, so we just need somebody to go post the purchase request, and again, for audit trail purposes. Keep in mind if your customer dropship order has multiple items for different vendors, you will get a purchase request for each vendor. Now, at some point in time, the vendor is going to ship the merchandise, and they're going to notify you that they shipped the merchandise to the customer. So someone needs to go into Counterpoint and receive against that dropship purchase order, again, for audit trail purposes. Dropship customer orders have no effect on inventory. We just need that audit trail. And again, the labor investment is very minimal. It's just somebody going into Counterpoint, posting or receiving against the dropship purchase order and posting. And then after posting, Counterpoint automatically releases the dropship order. So you don't need a salesperson to go into point of sale and touch the orders one at a time to release them. So in order to set up dropship customer orders, there's a few switches you need to enable. First one is in Setup System Company on the Other tab, and you're going to enable Allow Drop Shipments. The next one is a security authorization under Setup System Security Codes Authorizations. So for each group that will be processing dropship purchasing documents, you'll need to come to the Authorizations tab, and you'll need to enable the switch Allow Access Dropship Purchasing Docs. You'll also need to enable security and point of sale for the groups of people that will be processing or creating dropship customer orders. So under Setup, point of sale security codes, and the Orders tab, which is here, you're going to enable Allow Dropship Lines. By default, this should already be enabled, but I do want you to check it. So in Setup, Purchasing Control on the Main tab, you're just going to make sure that there's a dropship batch here, but it should already be there. Next, you're going to have to visit Setup Point of Sale Stores and click on the Lines tab. And if Dropship order is still over here on unused line types, you're going to have to move it over here to available line types. I would recommend enabling the discontinued item warning for Dropship order lines. Then next, you're going to click on line colors right here. The default line color for Dropship orders is kind of a shade of blue. And if you're currently using customer orders, special orders, or back orders, I think that shade of blue is a little confusing. So what I like to do is I like to make the Dropship order line a bright orange so it stands apart from orders, back orders, and special orders. Next, you're going to have to add a Dropship order button to your touchscreen. So you're going to need to find a blank button and click on it. Your action is going to be Add Dropship Order Line. You'll want to change your caption. And then I would come down here and make the color of the button the same as the line color, just for consistency purposes. And that's all under Setup Point of Sale touchscreen codes. Okay, in Point of Sale, to create a Dropship customer order, you're going to select a customer. You're going to click on the Dropship button. You're going to take payment in full because it's required. And you're going to fill out shipping information because it's required. Then someone's going to go into purchasing and purchase request. They're going to enter into the Dropship batch. Now, this is kind of a cool feature of this. So you get this little batch window that pops up when you go into purchase request. And it's basically segregating your regular unposted purchase request from the unposted Dropship purchase request. So that's pretty nice. So you'll go into this Dropship batch. You'll call up the purchase request and simply post it. So it's pretty easy. When you're actually looking at the Dropship purchase request, you'll notice at the top in the header here, there's a link to the actual sales document. And then you can even see here on the ship to, so the vendor sees the customer that the item is being shipped to. Now, when you get notified that the merchandise is shipped, someone's going to need to go into receiving and post against that Dropship PO. And again, you're going to get this batch pull up. You're just going to go into Dropship. You're going to find the receiving and you're going to post it. Again, in the header, there's a link to the actual receipt or the actual order. Now, I do note here on this slide that when you do go to receive against Dropship POs, you may need to create a filter, and I actually created one, and I'll show you how I did it. So when you go into Dropship POs, the PO lookup tends to show you all your POs. So we're going to create filters just to filter out regular POs from Dropship POs. So in purchasing, it's automatic. In receiving, it's not so automatic. Okay, when the receiver is posted, remember Counterpoint is going to release the Dropship order automatically. But in order to do so, it has to open a drawer, count a drawer, reconcile a drawer, and then close a drawer. So every time you post against a Dropship PO, you're going to have a reconciled drawer that will need to be posted at some point in time during the day. All right, let's get started. Let's get into the software. So I'm just going to open up Counterpoint here, and I'm going to start with all those settings that I told you about in the slide so you can actually see it. So the first setting is a company setting. It's Setup, System, Company. You're going to scroll over here to the Other tab, and you're going to enable Allow Drop Shipments. Okay. Next, we're going to do a System Security setting for each one, each group that's going to be responsible for posting purchasing documents. So that's under Setup, System, and Security Codes right here. So I'm just going to call up my group here. I'm going to come here to Authorizations, and it's this switch right here, Allow Access Dropship Purchasing Docs, that needs to be enabled. Don't forget to save your changes. Next is a point of sale security. So for people at point of sale that will be creating the Dropship orders. So Setup, point of sale security codes. And so for each group, you're going to come here to the Orders tab, and you're going to allow dropship lines. Pretty easy. But a lot of switches. Then I want you to check the purchasing control. Now this already should be enabled, but just double check it. So that's setup purchasing control. And then down here at the bottom, this field should say drop ship. And if it doesn't, you can use the lookup and select it. Okay. Next, we need to visit a store setting. So for any store that's going to be creating drop ship customer orders. So setup, point of sale, stores, sometime today we will get into stores. Here we go, see that? So you're going to call up a store. I'm just clicking on my right facing arrow to find a store. And then you're going to click on the Lines tab right here. And if you see Dropship Order over here, just double click on it and bring it over here. All right. And then I would enable these discontinued warnings. Matter of fact, I typically enable them for all these documents. Just if your people are trying to sell a discontinued item, they do get notified. They'll be able to bypass the warning, but they will be notified. All right, for the dropship order, if you go to line colors, by default, see this shade of blue? It's just too close to the other ones. So I like to make it a little more in your face. So I'll just use this drop down and I'll just go to other and I'll just choose this nice orange color. And then okay. Okay, so that's pretty easy. And then this will really stand out at point of sale when they add a dropship order line to a customer, to a ticket. And I'm not going to save those. Okay. The next place we need to visit is your touchscreen design because we need to add the dropship order button in order to use it at point of sale. Now, not everybody knows what designs they're using in touchscreen, and you might have different stations using different designs. So the first thing you need to do is find out which designs you need to modify. So if you go to Setup, Point of Sale, Stations, and just use your right-facing arrow here, and you'll just scroll through each and every station to see what designs they're using, and then you can see here what design each station is using. Now, in some environments, everyone might be using the same design, but in most environments, you're probably using a couple designs. So next, I'm going to go to my touchscreen designer, Setup, Point of Sale, Touchscreen Codes, and I'm using the combo design. So I'm going to click on my button editor. Okay, just find an empty button. Counterpoint will put black brackets around it. And then you're going to come to this action drop down and you're going to add dropship order line. Make sure your caption says something sensible. By default, it'll say add dropship order line, which I think is fairly sensible. And then I'm going to make this button the same kind of orange that I made the dropship order lines, just so it's consistent. So I came down here and I just chose that color. Okay. And then you can preview your change down here and then you should see that button. And that's all you need to do. Then you're going to exit and save when you're prompted and save again if you're prompted. Okay. So now I'm going to show you how to ring a sale using a dropship order line. It's pretty straightforward. It's no different than creating an order or a back order or a special order. So I'm going to log into my touchscreen. This always takes a few minutes or a few seconds. Okay, I'm going to select a customer. I strongly recommend putting a customer in a dropship order. And let's find my favorite customer, Bill. Bill Baker. Oh no, we don't want to process layaways. We want to, this is an auto note, by the way. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is, this is a sale line right now. I'm going to turn this line into a dropship order line by clicking on this button. See how it turns that shade of orange? This is coming from that store setting. And then I'm going to select a couple of items. So let's get a golf club. And let's go ahead and get something else. Let's get another one from this vendor. All right. Now, I have 2 items from 2 different vendors here. Okay. Next, I'm going to take payment. So I'm going to go to pay, and I'm going to take cash. This has to be paid in full. So the quickest way to pay it in full is to pay the balance. Click OK, and now I'm going to complete. So by default, Bill Baker has a default address, which is why it's appearing here. If you select a customer without a default shipping address, you can copy their bill to address, or if they don't want to use their bill to address, you can free type whatever address this is being shipped to. But the address one, the city, the state, the zip is required. So if you selected a customer without a bill to address or without a ship to address, you're going to have to enter address, city, state, zip. Now, that's just free form typing, so it doesn't update the customer record. It's just applicable to this document. All right, so I'm going to click on OK. I have all my customer information. All done. I'm just going to close out of here. At this moment in time now, Counterpoint has created 2 purchase requests for me because I had 2 different vendors. So now I need to go into purchasing and post those purchase requests. So I'm just going to close out of point of sale. And I'm going to go to purchasing, purchase request, enter. So this batch is where all my unposted regular purchase requests, my non-drop ship order purchase requests are. And this is where my drop ship purchase requests are. So there is 2 different buckets, which is pretty nice. So when I click on OK, and I come here into my lookup, you can see I've got a purchase request for Adams and one for TaylorMade. So I'm just going to click on one of these right now. Then you can see in the header, it even says, this is a drop ship purchase request for this particular order. And if you want to look at the order, you can just click right on this link. And you can actually look at the entire ticket. It actually brings you to the line/total tab automatically. But you can go look at the order, the bill to, the ship to, the items that were on the ticket, how it was paid for, any taxes that were collected, notes, activity, etc., etc. Here on the Ship To tab will be the customer's shipping address. The Order tab, it populates, with the current date. The Lines tab shows you the item that's being purchased, and all you need to do is click on Post. So I'm just going to post. And then if you look at the purchase order form, this is what the vendor typically gets. You'll see that it says to ship to Bill Baker at his Memphis address. Okay. Now the vendor sends me a notification that the merchandise is shipped. So again, it's that minimal amount of labor that I need to go or have somebody go in and receive against the drop ship PO. So I'm going to go to Receivings and enter. Now, it looks like it did in purchasing, like, the drop ship type of receiving against drop ship PO would be in their own little bucket, and your regular POs would be in their own little bucket, but it's not. And that's why you're going to need a filter. So I'm going to click on OK. I'm going to auto assign, and I'm going to get the entire list of POs, whether it's drop ship or not. Now, one way around this is with my column designer. I can actually go into the column designer, and I can add is drop ship to this particular lookup. And of course, don't forget to save it. But anything that's a Y is a drop ship. But I did something that was just a little bit more, I think, straightforward. So what I did is in my default lookup, I went to Filter, and I customized the filter by right-clicking and selecting Customize. And then I come down here to, where it says click here to add a condition. So I just clicked here. And it brings over a random condition in red. And this is not what I need. So if I just click on this random condition, just type an I on my keyboard, I can put is drop ship. I'm going to simplify my filter next. and then choose yes. And now I'm going to click on OK. Now that ran my filter, so I only see dropship POs. So after you run your filter, remember you've got to save this as a lookup. Otherwise, you're going to do this from scratch every time. So you're going to go to Options, Save As, and then you're going to save it as, you know, Dropship POs. I already have one saved here. That's why it appeared there. Okay. So now when you, here, let me start over here. I'm going to go back to auto assign. You typically get the default view. And so I created a lookup that only shows me dropship POs, but I created another one that shows me other POs, non-dropship POs. And it's simple. I just went into the filter. I customized the filter, right-click Customize. I selected the condition is dropship. I simplified the filter and said no. I clicked OK. So now I ran the filter, and then you need to remember to save that lookup. So Options, Save As, and then you save it, with whatever name you like. So the nice thing about that is it's just a simple drop down that you would leverage. All right, so now I'm going to receive against a dropship PO. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm just going to choose this first tailor-made here. So your pop-up here in receiving is even different. You can't change the received defaults or the unreceived quantity defaults. I'm going to just click OK. In the header, again, I can see the order. So if I want to click on this link, I can go look at it. And there we see, this one is for Brian Schmidt. If you go to lines, and this is true in purchasing as well, if you highlight this line here, this customer order button will light up, so you can access the order from here as well. It's the same place as clicking on this link, but it's just two ways to access it. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and post. So this is for Brian Schmidt, and I'm sure I want to post. And while I'm here, I'm going to go ahead, we'll look at the form here real quick just so you can see what it looks like since it's shipping to a customer. So you can see here the receiver looks like it's coming to you because obviously that's what the location says on the receiver. All right, I'm going to post those other two dropship orders. So I'm going to go back to auto assign. I'm going to choose this one. Okay. And I'm just going to come here and post. And by the way, while I'm posting here, just so you know, we saw that when I created that dropship order at point of sale, Counterpoint automatically created the purchase request. If you leave that purchase request open and you need to make changes to the dropship order, you can, but once the purchase request is posted, you can't go back and make changes to the customer order. Just good to know stuff. I'm just going to post all of these. Yeah, there's a cost difference, I know. Now, by virtue of posting all of these receivings, what I don't see behind the scenes is a couple of things. One is Counterpoint is releasing the back orders. That's one thing it's doing. The other thing Counterpoint is doing is it's opening, counting, and reconciling a drawer. So I'm going to show you that now. I'm going to show you that through drawer management because we get a nice bird's eye view there. So I'm going to go to point of sale drawers, and I'm going to come here to drawer management. And so you can see I have these three reconciled drawers. This is from posting the dropship orders. So you can come here and post them one at a time, which is probably what I'd be inclined to do for, just for control purposes. Oops, I don't want to reconcile it again. Let's post. Always use your ticket date, by the way. Okay. And I'm just going to post these other two as well. So this is a little bit of labor, but really it's very minimal. Now, because I posted the receivings, the customer orders were relieved. They were released. And because I've posted, the customer orders are now just gone. So if I go to the point of sale, and I go back to touchscreen, and I go to process orders, Oh, there's one order I missed. Let's see. But there should be no dropship orders in here, except for the one I missed. Okay, so that's dropship orders. Again, minimal effort, minimal labor, huge time saver, and it ultimately will make your customers happy that the vendor can ship directly to them so they don't have to drive back to the store. So let's go back to the PowerPoint presentation here. And so here are your key takeaways today. Hopefully you learned how to enable all the settings that you need to enable to allow dropship customer orders. You learned how to create a dropship customer order, which is no different than creating an order, special order, or back order. It's just a different line color. And then you learned how to process, post your purchase request, post your receive against the dropship PO, post your receiver, and ultimately post your drawers. So please let me know how we did today during Training Bites. We love your feedback, topic suggestions. I'm looking for topics for next year. When you get your video recording, either Friday or Monday, you'll also have a survey attached to that. Please take the survey. You can remain anonymous, or you can go directly to our website and fill out the survey, www.cksystem.com/training bites survey. Next month, August the 4th, we're going to talk about order management. So I know there's a lot of you out there that do really heavy internet business. And those of you that have the connector, those orders coming from the web are coming down into point of sale as orders in by and large in most part. And so somebody has to log into point of sale and process those orders one at a time. We call it the release complete. So if you're getting 20, 30, 40, 50 orders a day, that's a lot of work. So there's this really nice feature called order management that was introduced to Counterpoint a few years ago. And what it allows you to do is to manage your internet orders or your over-the-counter orders, whatever, in bulk, in phases. So it's just another time saver. So we'll talk about the management of orders, the whole process, and then something also called batch processing, which is a little bit faster than order management, but it doesn't let you manage in phases. So if you need one-on-one customized training, give me a call, 888-476-7911, extension 3, or you can email training@cksystem.com. Okay, Q&A time. Let's see if we have any questions. Okay, can you post the drawer before posting the purchase order? Um, so yeah, you can. Yeah, remember the drawer session is only created at the point of receiving. So yeah, if you've got drawers to post and you don't have that purchase request posted, that's perfectly fine. Uh, can an item be set to drop ship? Does it work the same way? Do you mean multiple items on one document and one is set to drop ship? The answer is yes, if that's your question. But remember, if one item is a drop ship and the rest items are cash and carry, the cash and carry items have to be paid for, plus the drop ship, everything's going to be paid in full. But Counterpoint will only generate a purchase request for the drop ship item. So the good question, if I understood it correctly. Ah, that's okay. I see what you're saying. So when you create an item, can you make it default to a drop ship item? That is a good idea. I like that idea. Currently in Counterpoint, and there's no mechanism to indicate an item is drop ship. Now you could put an auto note on that item. So anytime that item is selected at point of sale, it pops up a note to the cashier that says, "Make this a drop ship item." You could do that. Okay, any other questions? Oh, looks like another one. Okay, thank you. You are very welcome. Okay, looks like there aren't any more questions. As always, I appreciate your time. Thank you for spending